Imagine this. You're a teenager in the early 2000s. You walk into McDonald's with just a crumpled dollar bill in your pocket. And somehow, that's enough. Enough for a cheeseburger, small fries, or maybe even an ice-cold drink. That wasn't just food. That was freedom. But fast forward to today, and that same dollar can barely buy you a pack of gum, let alone lunch. So what happened? How did the iconic dollar menu rise to become the king of fast food, and then vanish from our lives almost as quickly as it appeared? Welcome back to Behind the Menu, where we uncover the untold stories behind the food we love, and sometimes the food we miss. This is the rise and fall of the dollar menu. The year was 2002. Fast food chains were locked in an all-out price war. Burger King had its value deals, Wendy's had their 99-cent menu, and McDonald's needed to strike back. So, they launched something simple, genius, and revolutionary, the dollar menu. For just $1, you could order fan favorites, like the McChicken, a cheeseburger, small fries, or a sundae. The idea was brilliant. People didn't even have to think. One item, $1, no math, no stress. And for struggling families, broke college kids, and anyone living paycheck to paycheck, this wasn't just convenience, it was survival. The dollar menu became a cultural icon. The dollar menu wasn't just about cheap food, it was about psychology. First, it got people in the door. You'd think, hey, I'll grab a $1 burger. But once inside, maybe you'd add fries, maybe a drink. Suddenly, your $1 lunch became $5. Second, it made McDonald's look like the hero of the people. Other restaurants could raise prices, but McDonald's was out here saying, don't worry, we've got you covered for just $1. And third, timing. Early 2000s America had just gone through the dot-com bubble burst and 9/11. People were nervous about money. A $1 cheeseburger felt like comfort. On Behind the Menu, we always look at how food intersects with culture. And the dollar menu was more than a bargain. It was a symbol of stability at a time when the country needed it most. But here's the problem with selling food for $1. Food isn't really $1. Beef prices went up, cheese prices went up, labor costs rose, even paper and packaging cost more than before. McDonald's franchise owners, the people actually running the restaurants, started losing money on every single dollar menu item they sold. One franchisee famously said, "We're literally paying customers to eat here." It worked for McDonald's corporate, because cheap items brought people through the doors. But for the small business owners running the stores, the dollar menu was a slow bleed. By the late 2000s and early 2010s, inflation started eating the dollar menu alive. That cheeseburger that once cost McDonald's 50 cents to make was now costing 90 cents. Suddenly, that $1 price tag wasn't a clever promotion. It was a liability. In 2012, McDonald's made a bold move. They announced the end of the original dollar menu. They replaced it with something called the dollar menu and more. But here's the catch. Not everything was actually $1 anymore. Some items were $1.29, others $2, and some $5. Customers were confused. The magic was gone. It wasn't the dollar menu anymore. It was just a menu. By 2014, the iconic dollar menu was officially dead. McDonald's knew the brand power of the dollar menu was too strong to just abandon. So in 2018, they tried again with the $1, $2, $3 menu. On paper, it sounded like a comeback. But in reality, it was messy. Some regions didn't even have the same deals. In one state, you might get a $1 coffee, in another it was $2. The consistency was gone. And by then, customers had already adjusted. The new generation didn't expect a burger for $1. They expected to pay $2, $3, even $5. The dollar menu was no longer realistic. Inflation had won. Even though the dollar menu is gone, its legacy lives on. It changed the way Americans thought about fast food. It created a culture of value meals, promotions, and price wars. It gave broke students, struggling families, and late-night drive-thru warriors a sense of comfort and control, even if just for $1. Today, we live in a world where fast food is more expensive than ever. A Big Mac meal can run you $10 or more, and people look back at the dollar menu like it was some kind of golden age. Here on Behind the Menu, we don't just see it as nostalgia. We see it as a moment that defined American food culture. For one shining moment, a single dollar felt like it could buy happiness. So the next time you pull up to McDonald's and see that your fries cost $3, just remember, there was a time when all you needed was 4 quarters to get fed. The dollar menu wasn't just about cheap food. It was about hope, comfort, and simplicity. And maybe that's why, even years after its fall, people still talk about it like it was the best deal America ever had. Because in the end, the rise and fall of the dollar menu isn't just about fast food. It's about how much the world and the value of a dollar has changed. Thanks for watching Behind the Menu. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe for more stories behind the food we eat, and let me know in the comments, what was your go-to dollar menu order?